The four-wheel drive Toyota Tercel wagon is on the move again and gives the best gas mileage of any four-wheel drive car. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
It's a tough little bugger, isn't it?
Are you ready for this, guys? Because I have a very special car for us today here at Tumbleweed Ranch. And I have Jonathan, the owner. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, dude, you brought your... this is the best Toyota Tercel four-wheel drive I think I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love this thing.
Tell me about it, like when you got it and why did you get it?
Yeah, so it's an 84 Toyota Tercel four-wheel drive wagon. It's the SR5 trim. I bought it 5 years ago, and it was mostly a barn find when I got it. It had not been driven much over the last 15 years, and it was love at first sight, to say the least. So I picked it up, and after I owned it, that's when I kind of realized what I had on my hands and just wanted to make it better and better and restore it. And my hope is to keep it on the road for another 39 years.
Well, it's 39 years old now.
Yeah,
yes,
this month.
That's pretty special. So it was in this color. This is how you found it.
Yeah, this is the factory color, and had it professionally done. Had to clean up a little bit of surface rust, but I knew that if I wanted to keep it long term, I had to go ahead and clean up that rust, take it down to bare metal, and get it repainted.
And that's what you did about, when was that?
So that would have been in September of 21, so
okay.
About a year and a half ago.
All right, I gotcha. All right, so, gosh, so this is a four-wheel drive wagon. Is this the original crossover? No, it's not a crossover.
No, we don't call it crossover.
No.
This is a wagon.
We can't. And this, I see you have, well, these are not original wheels, right? No,
so these are off of first-gen Toyota MR2. So this is a 14-inch wheel. It has, from the factory, 13-inch steelies, or they also made a 13-inch alloy, which those are very desirable. I'd love to get my hands on a set of those.
Yeah.
I love the look. It actually looks better on this than a MR2, I think. So
I agree, especially the white color kind of setting off.
Yeah.
Right against the color of the car, and also the black accents.
Yeah.
Well, really sweet. And this is how the trim looked, right? With the white numbers and letters.
Yep.
And that's...
Yeah, my goal with restoring it and fixing it up, I wanted to keep the car looking as period correct as possible while making it much better to drive, more reliable, more simple to work on. So there are a few mods that I've done to it, but ultimately I wanted it to look like it's still in the 1980s.
Which I think it does. Yeah. Where should we start next? Interior or engine?
Let's look at the engine.
All right, let's pop it.
Yeah, so this is a Toyota 3A engine. It's a 1.5 liter, 4-cylinder. From the factory, it was rated about 62 horsepower. And you'll see this is one of the mods that I've done to it. I put a Weber carburetor on it. It just makes it a lot easier to tune. Also just more reliable. The factory carburetor is a great carb, but it was a bird's nest of vacuum lines and just a nightmare to kind of keep it in good running order. So I made the switch to a Weber not long after buying it, and it's been a great mod, I think.
But you found this car in Colorado, so it was always kind of a high elevation car, so to speak?
Yeah.
As far as you know, I guess.
Yeah, and before I did the Weber swap, I actually took a road trip 550 miles to my parents' place in Kansas, and I got 34 miles per gallon on the highway with the factory carb. Now, with the Weber carb, the most I can really expect to do is maybe 31 to 33 on the highway. And
then, of course, it's a 5-speed manual, correct? With a caveat, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Some people will say this is a 6-speed. Some people will say it's a 5-speed.
Or 5+1.
Yeah, so it is a 5-speed. Now, when you're in 4-wheel drive, you have access to an extra low gear. So similar to the way that the new Ford Bronco does it. So it is a 6th gear. It's a crawler gear, though.
So as it is, it's a front-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
Until you flip that lever, which we'll show in a second.
Yep.
Well, it's really cool. I mean, it looks really... I mean, even your cap looks original, right?
The cap is original. The radiator is new, but the cap is original.
That's really sweet. And I like this plaque, too.
Yes.
Right there, made in Japan.
All right,
So you're in 4-wheel drive right now.
we are in 4-wheel drive. I'm going to go ahead and put it in extra low.
Do you know what numeric value that is? Like something to 1 or 40?
373 gears.
Okay.
Is what I've been told.
All right, so we dropped into Onyx OffRoad Andre's pit course.
Yeah.
Welcome. So we're gonna try holes, see what she'll do. You could take approach whichever way you want it. It's hard to go as slowly as possible, right? It's doing it. It's really steep, dude.
Yeah, I probably should have done that with a little bit more speed, but so that's the thing, not a lot of torque.
I interrupt this video to tell you that this truck, a 1990 GMC 1-ton common swapped 4x4, is on sale right now at tflbids.com. It belongs to my friend David, so use the link in the description below. Check it out. This is cool.
Yeah, so I think this is one of the all-time great interiors of any Toyota car. And it's really what made me fall in love with this vehicle. That is the original Plaid. And these Plaid seats, they only came on the SR5 trim for the 83 and 84 model years. And it was either in this sort of brown and tan Plaid, or you can also get a blue and white gray Plaid, which also looked incredible. The 83 and 84 SR5s, I think, are the prettiest because you do get the Plaid like this. And then another feature that was exclusive to the 83 and the 84s is the center inclinometer that tells you your tilt, and it also has the 4-wheel drive indicator light to let you know whether you're in front-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive.
It's very cool. It's like proper Toyota 4-wheel drive. Tech, right?
Yeah, and if you go back to the 80s, almost all Japanese 4-wheel drive vehicles had that inclinometer. The Land Cruiser, the 4Runner, Pajeros.
The pickup, the original pickup.
Yes. Right? So, it's kind of interesting that they stuck it on this thing, but I love it. So, like right now, it's in front-wheel drive, and you can do this on the fly when you're, driving, as long as you're doing it while the wheel is turned straight. And then at that point, like that's my first gear, but since I'm in 4-wheel drive, that is extra low. And that's what gives me that maximum low range crawling.
And it actually has a little EL symbol on it.
Yep.
In red.
Yep.
That's very neat.
Yep.
And what is that little plaque you said? There's a plaque down there.
Yeah, so that's just your instruction for shifting to and out of 4-wheel drive. And that's, again, kind of common on a lot of older Toyotas. Even some of the Land Cruisers had sort of an instruction sheet on the dash telling you how to operate the 4-wheel drive. And again, that's the original sticker.
And I see now you also have cruise control.
In the 80s, it was pretty common for this to be sort of like a non-OEM addition that the dealer could install for you. When I first bought the car, it worked okay. Again, with a 60 horsepower car, I never really would recommend using that. But it did work, and now it doesn't. And I haven't really cared to figure out what's going on with it. I don't need it. Wouldn't mind trying that again.
You want to a little
Yeah,
quicker?
yeah, just because I want to keep the RPMs up a little bit more. You ready?
Yep. So it's kind of like a little truck, right? It's got a solid rear axle. There you go. Woohoo!
That's more like it.
Not bad, right?
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, like you said, you have to build up the RPM.
Yeah, you know, it's not the torquiest little car, but hey, how many other little wagons can do that?
That are 39 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I know a brand new crossover like a RAV4 could do that, but hey, it's not 39 years old.
No. So this is our cargo area.
This is pretty large, actually.
It's very practical.
Yeah.
Of course, this sort of shelf, you can pop that out really quick. And you can haul some pretty big stuff in this.
Because you can fold the seats down, right?
Fold the seats down, lots of room. It's actually one of the big things that Toyota really marketed with this is how practical it was. You know, I've been told from a lot of guys they can fit, you know, washers and dryers in this thing. And I myself, I've loaded dressers and tables and chairs and all sorts of things.
Well, this is kind of the ultimate, like the wagon car, right? Because you have low entry.
And it's a big opening, too.
You could lift something into this. And
Yeah.
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 And this is very tall, too.
Yeah. And then, of course, under here is our full-size spare. This is, of course, the 13-inch factory Steely. But
Oh, can you show it? Can you lift that up?
yeah, that's what it looks like. Pretty handsome little wheel.
Yeah.
And then, of course, one of the styling things that I've heard a lot of people talk about is how the back end of this, they always used to call it an ATM machine. Just the boxy nature with this little license plate deal.
Like a shelf. It looks like a
sort
shelf.
of off to one side.
Yeah.
Everyone always said it looked like an ATM. So,
Well, I think it's very handsome, very
I
good
love
looking. I like your sticker, too, up here.
yeah, that sticker is probably the best $5 I've spent on this car. People see the sticker and they don't get mad. They're like, he's doing the best he can. Let's just go around. God bless him. You know, they don't get angry.
Right.
So
I totally get it.
It's actually a necessity for this thing.
Dude, I also love like the styling because you have a larger window here.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be all in one line. It doesn't have to.
No, and I've noticed this weird trend where Toyota, they always do something weird with their furthest back window. So you'll see that in the first gen 4Runners. You'll see that in like the first gen Axis cab Tacomas.
Trucks. Yeah.
You know, where it's always like a different size.
Yeah, maybe taller or skinnier or
And
something.
I don't know why they did it, but all I can say is if they didn't do that, this wouldn't be as recognizable. It would look a lot more like a Subaru. All right.
Do you want to try trenches?
Let's do it.
See kind of how it goes. And you were saying these transmissions are not easy to find, huh?
No, if I ruin this transmission, I might be able to find one, but
You may have to rebuild it or something. No? No?
Well, yeah, you might
The
have
parts?
to find 3 broken transmissions to make one good
To
one.
make one good one. You could approach it however way you want it. You don't have to do any particular way or another. But it doesn't really have like a locking differential, does it?
Nope.
Ooh! Wow, dude. That's not an easy course,
It
actually.
did it.
It's not an
Yeah.
easy course. It may have looked a little bit easy right there, but some modern crossovers actually fail on that course.
There was an upgrade all the Japanese versions of this car had that we did not get in America. You can actually fold this all the way down. And
So you could sit here
Yep.
and recline?
yeah.
Wow.
So that's something I did myself. I modified the seat. I actually have a YouTube video on how I did it.
Sweet. Can
could
you show me the price slip?
Longmont Toyota.
So this is not for this car.
This is not for this car. Again, I pulled this out of a junkyard Tercel. In fact, this is dated 83, so this would have been for an 83 model year. But your total out the door, $9,928 for an SR5 Tercel.
So this price probably would have been similar for this car.
Yep.
Basically. And how much did you pay for it originally when you bought it?
I paid $1,400.
That's a pretty good deal.
It had 160,000 on it, and I've put 23,000 miles on it in the last 5 years.
Sweet. It's a rally car. You've been on an icy lake recently, probably.
Georgetown Lake, yeah.
Well, Jonathan, thanks for coming, dude.
Thanks, Andre.
I gotta say, this was my first Tercel four-wheel drive donut, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, probably first Tercel four-wheel drive anything, right?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of these on the road, and you have one of the nicest examples of it I've ever seen, and plus now I had a ride in it, so thank you very much.
Of course, glad to be here.
And guys, as always, check out oldtfl.com for everything automotive, and tflbids.com is the fastest way to list and sell your cool vehicle right there. Check it out using the links below. And Jonathan, just because you did under spit and also did donuts,
Sweet.
You also get a tumbleweed approved sticker.
How about that?
Onyx OffRoad approved.
All right. I'll wear that with honor.
The Toyota Tercel, a new standard in four-wheel drive, but that's just the tip of the iceberg.